Okay, so welcome to my first tutorial. I have never done this before, so I hope I don't make too many mistakes. I'm doing it because it would have helped me well, and I'm a big Max fan, as all of us, and as you probably all wish, we all wish that we could turn our Max patches to fully grown plugins sometimes. Which is only possible in Ableton Live. But Max has an integrated object called Gen and some genius that I don't know that's called Jeremy Bernstein put a whole folder on GitHub which helps us make a plugin out of a Gen patcher. So you can simply download this. I will post a link in the video description. I found it here on this cycling forum page, and you get this folder which is full of goodies. So he already put his build results there. He has this folder which is important because you actually in preparation have to go to your Xcode application, go into the package contents, go here into the developer folder, then into extras if you don't have it created, and copy this folder here, else your plugin will not build. And then here's a folder where the Gen code gets copied to, and here is the Gen example max patch. So it's pretty well documented, and you can basically press export code and it will export and optimally build the whole thing. It actually launches a kind of Python, well, it is a Python script which does the whole work, and it goes to Juice, who doesn't, well, for whom out there who doesn't know Juice, it helps, well, create DSP programs with CPP. It's basically, it puts the frame there in CPP for audio applications, and Cycling uses it, M-Audio uses it, also Rolly for the Seaboard uses it, and so on. So very practical tool. Here comes an older version of Juice. I have a newer version, and I will show you how I did it with a newer version. So let's get started. VST somehow didn't work for me. I had some difficulties with it. So I'm going to do an audio unit plugin. But maybe VST will work for you. And my Xcode complained that it wasn't installed, although it is. And so I don't know what's happening. I will anyway. So now you can basically just click export code. It will ask you if it can open the introducer. It will open the introducer. Then it will do its whole kind of magic and build it, make an Xcode project, build it, and provide you with a nice little plugin that you can use. But as is written here as well, there is a little problem. There is no UI, no user interface, no graphical user interface, no little tiny nice sliders that you can push around. So you get your plugin here. Here's the Gen project, here is the build, here is debug, and here is our plugin. But if I start my DAW and load the plugin, we will see that, let's start the project, there's just a simple hello world. Well, very nice of you, but that doesn't help me very much. Now, I want my little sliders. So I sat down with a friend of mine who knows C++, and who helped me figure it out a bit. And so I will show you now how I managed to, in a very, very easy way, not very elegant, but very easy way to put in the sliders, make names, and so on. So what I did, I basically did it with a new juice. So I deleted this and I deleted these. And then I opened this with my producer. And as you can see here, there basically in every juice plugin file, there are 4 files: the plugin processor CPP and .h, and then the editor CPP and .h. The editor is basically for the whole user interface, and the processor does the whole audio processing in this case. Here we have our gen plugin and gen CPP, which got done by the export code. That's what you get when you press export code on a gen patcher. And what is in this gen patcher is a simple free verb plugin. So we will need to look into that later. And here's how I did it. So Juice has a very nice little component called GUI. So I clicked on the plus here and made a new GUI. I called it GUI. And what I like about that as a Max person, I can just create things, create sliders and drag them around, and that makes me very happy. So I can also add a little text editor to label my parameters. And as we see here, we have 4 parameters. We have damp, feedback 1, the spread, and the feedback 2. These are the parameters that they get sent in or put in variable things. So we need 4 sliders. I can even just copy and paste that. And put it here and put it here and make my little graphical user interface, which is very, very nice to do it instead of writing tons of code. So now I will name it. I will name it, here is damp. That's our first parameter. I put it here 2 and here initial text 2 so that it appears here. This reminds me of the inspector in Max. Here will be our feedback 1, and I have to put it here and here. Then the same thing with feedback 2, back 2, there, there, and there. And last but not least, we have the spread. Spread is here and here. So now we have to adjust the sliders. I'm gonna call them damp slider. There. Damp slider. And as you can see here, the damp slider is minimum 0 and max 1. So we are going to put minimum 0, max 1, and an interval of 0.01. Then the feedback 1 and feedback 2 are the same, also 0 to 1. So I will just do that here as well, 0.01, and call that feedback 1 slider. And feedback 1 slider here, and then here is going to be feedback 2 slider, from 0 to 1 and 0.01. And depending on your gen patch, you will have to fill in more sliders or less. I'm just showing it with that standard example that was given here. Spread slider there, copy, and the spread goes actually from 0 to 400, so we're going to adapt that. We're going to here go from 0 to 400. Okay, so now we have our little user interface, which was much easier to do than the code that was generated through it. See all that shit. Oh my god. I'm so happy I didn't have to type that. Okay, so now let's put that into our plugin. So basically, if you look through here, these little descriptions here, you will find these functions, for example, GUI.paint and GUI resized and all that. You will re-find here in the editor. So here you have, for example, set size. It just makes the size of the window of the plugin. So we can actually go here into the code and just copy this whole thing. We see set size here. So I'm going to just take this and copy it here. There. Bam. Okay. Then in our CPP we have here this. It worked for me without copying and pasting this, but I'm doing it anyway just to be very complete and thorough. And then we have the paint function, which basically does the background color. So all this hello world shit goes away. Bam. And we have the resized function, which also is here, there, and where we can copy and paste this. The last thing we have is in the code, in the CPP file of the GUI, this chunk, which is important. This tells us that our slider was moved. So we have to copy that and put it in here. You can put it at the end. But we will have to fill it in some code here. So as you can imagine, I already told you I'm not a C++ expert, but a very good friend of mine showed me. So I'm just gonna shortly open that other project of mine and take it out. That. Close it again and fit it in here. Okay, so what this does is it makes this slider that was moved. It gets the value, and from processor set parameter, that function gets called. There is a case, which is which means which slider or which parameter are you going to define with that slider. And then it's gonna put the value in here. Okay, so we are just gonna take that and copy it here, here, and here. There we go. And now there is 0, 0, 0, 0. We don't want to change the same parameter with all the sliders, so we have to find them. And where do we find them? We find them in this plugin, actually. So this is the whole thing that got generated by this gen patch. So if you scroll down, you will come to one function that's called set parameter. There. And here are described the cases with FB1, which means feedback 1, feedback 2, spread, and damp as the first. So I can go back here. And as there, our feedback 1 slider will be then case 1, and here feedback 2 slider will be 2, and the spread slider will be 3. Our damp slider is already 0. So that's good. Very nice. So now to the H document, which we also have to do. Well, there is this slider listener thing, which you have to copy. which you have to put in here at the end. You can just put a comma and slider listener, put it here. Then there is this override function. If you follow the juice tutorials, at some point you will see this as well. This is the value changed override thing. So I will not get into details because I'm simply not, I simply don't have enough knowledge. That's it. And then we have all these pointers from the sliders that we are also going to copy, and we can just put them here. Okay. So now we have it. We have done it all. So basically I just did this and copied some stuff from these two files to these two files. Oh, I almost forgot. Here. Oh my god. Okay, here is this function. There can't be written GUI. We have to have the same name as the rest of this stuff. So C74 Gen Audio Processor Editor. Okay, almost forgot. Okay, so now that this is done, we are set, and we can move on. So I'm gonna press save and open the IDE, and oh my god, we have a error. So I had this before. It's buggy. I don't know why Juice does it. Usually in ProJuicer you go to the global search paths and you set for the Juice models, you'd set your path here, which is right in my case. So what I had to do is I went to modules and it can't find it. I select my Juice folder, modules, open, and now he finds it. And for some reason he does it with everyone, and it's really a pain in the ass, although he has already found it. A bit strange. Anyway, this is done fast. We are soon gonna be done. I'm sorry for the time you have to wait and listen to me and watch me look that. Maybe I should cut it out. Maybe I will. And anyway, maybe I will speed it up. Although my video editing skills, well, are not there. So, but basically now we are almost done. I just don't like having any red here. Okay, so now here is the exporter, it's our Xcode, and now we press this, it's saving, it's opening Xcode, and we are happy as can be. So now there is our plugin, and it's processing files, and sometimes you want to first do clean, this clean, and then you can build your plugin. So I'm going to build it. Creating, shell scripts, source files, linking, and build succeeded. And I somehow get these two mistakes, but I do not care because it works. So what you get, what you get is here. Actually, it puts it right into the hidden library, which bugs me a little bit, but it's not dramatic. It puts it here, and I actually want it in my normal library, which is here. Plugin, plugins, components here. And so I will replace my old cycling plugin. I will reopen my DAW, And I will test my Max plugin, and here's my nice interface, and it works. Yay, you can try it out and everything. And that's it. I hope this helped you, and I hope this will help you make more out of your Gen plugins and actually transform them into real plugins, which you can just load in your DAW. So all the best, and maybe see you soon.